So the closer and closer we get to like the NBA All-Star break, the more and more the trade rumors start to float around and start coming about. And me being a huge NBA fan, as big as an NBA fan as I am, one of the top players, pretty much the top player whose name has been like throughout the trade rumors and whatnot, has been Carmelo Anthony. And he's one of the top players. Well, he was at one point one of the top players in the league. I wouldn't say he is so much, but he's still like the top player. He plays for the New York Knicks, and I feel like with Melo, I almost want to say that his time has passed as far as like him being like in elite status, and as far as being being the focal point of a championship team. And he had his opportunity to do that when he resigned a couple of years ago, when he decided to stay in New York. Phil Jackson and they all did what they had to do to kind of like they did what they did, man. And they re-signed him, gave this guy a no trade clause, and it's basically an ironclad contract where he can just do what he wants now. He doesn't have to worry about, okay, well, they're going to trade me unless I approve to be traded. Now, mind you, this dude had the opportunity to go to Chicago. He had the opportunity to go to Houston. He had the opportunity to go to Boston. He had the opportunity to go to all LA. And go to LA and play with Kobe was still playing. But he chose to be in New York, chose to stay in New York. And a lot of people question that, because when you looked at New York's roster, it was like, okay, you all really don't have anyone. You really don't have anyone. So is this dude really trying to win, or is he just trying to cash in? And I would personally like to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, yeah, he's got faith in Phil Jackson and all this other stuff, but it looks as if Phil Jackson don't have any more faith in him. And he's kind of having like this buyer's remorse, because they recently had a meeting, and I know Phil Jackson has pretty much told him, like, look, you're not going to win here, man. It's not working. Just, go somewhere else where you had a better opportunity of winning and all this other stuff. And Melo's like, nah, I want to stay in New York. I want to stay with New York, and I want to end my career here in New York, and all this other mess, man. And New York, eventually, man, eventually those fans turn on you. Now, if he goes out there and he continues to play hard and stuff like that, but let's be real, Carmelo isn't getting any younger. He's 32 years old, maybe 33. He's not getting any younger. So yeah, he's 32, getting ready to be 33, and I don't know, man. It looks like the guy's body is breaking down on him. He's never been a good defensive player. When he gets the ball just stops. He's a ball stopper. And Phil Jackson doesn't like that. He's real adamant on getting everybody to learn that triangle, and he wants everybody to learn this style and play like this. And my thing with that, in Melo's defense, like, yo, if you're not going to come out here and coach this, stop telling us how to play. Just, put the team around us that's going to, help us succeed. But I mean, they just signed, they just traded for Derrick Rose. They signed Joakim Noah to one of the worst contracts imaginable, with that 73, $72 million deal they got that guy for like 4 years. Oh boy, that dude is broken down, man. He is like, I don't know, man. I don't know, Tom Thibodeau, man. For some reason, when players leave the Bulls, man, they just not the same player, man. Ask Luol Deng. That dude was broken down once he left and went to LA and Cleveland and whoever else he played with since then. So with that being said, I feel like Melo really needs to weigh his options and really need to think, like, and it came about saying that, the only teams that he would waive his no trade clause to go to would be Cleveland and was it Cleveland, LA or something like that, the Clippers. I'm like, for one, Cleveland's not going to give up the farm. What does Cleveland have to offer New York to give them? Because when you think about it, you would have to give up either picks or players. And Cleveland's not going to deplete their roster for Carmelo Anthony, because they know they pretty much are locked to get to the finals. So why would you give up all those pieces for Carmelo Anthony? I wouldn't do it. Only a fool would do that. And going to LA with the Clippers, what does the Clippers really have to give up? And even if they do have pieces to give up, Clippers aren't going anywhere. Like, let's be real. They had their run, they had their chance, time after time. For the past 4 years or so, they've been on the cusp, and they haven't even gotten out the second round. So, I mean, the Clippers, Chris Paul, I love Chris Paul. Don't get me wrong. Chris Paul is the man, but he's always hurt. He's 32 years old. He's not getting any younger. Blake Griffin, good talent, but he's always injured. You can't depend on him. They're both currently injured right now. So how would that work? And I've said this before, and I'll go on record and saying this again. The best fit for Carmelo Anthony right now, where they could he can go to a team and fit right in and be that missing piece, is the Boston Celtics. Boston has the best, most impressive trade assets, which would be picks. These picks that they have 2 picks from the Brooklyn Nets. And we know Brooklyn ain't gonna do nothing. Brooklyn is not a good team. So they're definitely gonna have 2 lottery picks from the Brooklyn Nets from the next 2 seasons. Then they also have a pick from the Memphis Grizzlies in, 2018 or maybe 2019? I can't remember. But they have a lot of picks to offer. And that's probably what New York would want, instead of taking, salaries and stuff like that, where they won't be able to really rebuild. And they can't really afford to take any salaries, so they can get good young players and continue on with their rebuilding process. So just something to really think about, man. I feel like that's the best fit for him, because he can go right into a team that's on the cusp of winning and can actually compete against Cleveland. And who knows, man, they might even be able to dethrone him. You never know, man. It's the NBA. Anything can happen. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. If it makes sense to you. Me personally, I think Carmelo's best interest is to just leave New York alone and head over to Boston if he wants to win, because the clock is ticking on that guy, and I don't know anybody else that's really gonna give up much to get him if he does waive his no trade clause. So, and when you really think about it, the last team that made that type of move for Carmelo Anthony was who? You guessed it, the New York Knicks. They had a lot of young pieces and whatnot that they gave up to get Carmelo Anthony over there. I remember they had like Gallinari, they had like Wilson Chandler and stuff, and guys like that. They pretty much broke up that core of that bench and those young players to get Carmelo over there, when they could have just signed him outright at the end of that next season. But he was so adamant to get from Denver over there to New York. They didn't think that stuff through. I mean, they would have been a lot better team had they kept those young players. And Boston, like I said, is the way the Boston would definitely be the move for them to do that, because they don't have to get rid of all those good young players. They can just get rid of maybe one and like a bunch of picks, and and then just call it a day, man. So I don't know, man. I'm really feeling like that's the way to go, man, with them. So you know how it is, man. Just some loose talk, just telling y'all exactly how I feel about what's what. Let me know what you all think, comments, all that other stuff. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Returning subs, y'all know what it is. I'm your boy Flock, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.